Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous 2-colour kanzashi flower, and that is a single one on a hair clip. I've made a tutorial of kanzashi flowers before, but I made 3 on a headband, and this one today is to show you how to do this one on a clip. So I've got everything here ready to make my kanzashi flower. Everything that I use I will link in the description below, so if you press on the title that will bring up the description with all of the links. So I'm making these 2 bows today for 2 twin girls, so hi if you're watching to Olivia and Eleanor. Eleanor loves yellow, so the yellow flower is for her, and Olivia loves pink, so we're making a pink and white flower for her on a clip. So to make the flower, I've got my viscose fabric scissors. I've got a hair clip here. Now you could attach this to an elastic if you wanted to, or a headband, but yeah, I'm using this 45mm double prong clip, and I've also got another piece of ribbon to line my clip. And to line my 45mm clip, I've got a piece of ribbon 11 centimeters in length by 1 centimeter wide. I've got some tongs here. These are optional, you don't necessarily need these, but I'll show you when we get to it, you may want to use them. And I've also got a pin, which is also optional. I'll explain more later. I've got this piece of scrap fabric, which I've already cut. Again, I'll explain more when we get to it. I've got this lovely little pink gemstone for the middle of the flower, like this one. I just got these from my local craft store. They sell all sorts of different gems, and I just thought that these ones looked really cute. And to attach that, I'm going to use my gemstone glue. And I've got a couple of lighters for my ribbon, and the reason I've got 2 is because you do use quite a lot of heat to make this bow, because it's no sew, it's just basically held together with heat and hot glue. So I've got a couple of lighters just in case one gets a little bit overheated or run out of gas, but I have filled them up, so one should be plenty really. But yeah, I've just got a couple in case I need them. And obviously I've got my hot glue gun here also. And then I've got my pieces of ribbon. You will need 16 squares of ribbon altogether. So 6 white for the outer white petals. And then I've got 6 white and 6 pink for the inner petals. I've already started making a few petals here, as you can see, just to save time in this video, because I don't want you to sit through watching me make all of these petals at once. So yeah, I've got my piles already laid out, and you can make this bow any size you like. So this flower obviously is made with 1.5 inch wide ribbon or 4 centimeter wide ribbon, and you basically need to cut it into a square. So whatever width of ribbon you use, you need to cut it the same length. So this is 4 centimeter wide or 1.5 inch by 4 centimeters or 1.5 inch. So I've got a square. Bearing in mind, the more narrower the ribbon, the smaller the square, the smaller your flower will be. And it is quite fiddly to make this flower as it is. So the smaller your ribbon is going to be extra fiddly. So I'm going to start off by showing you how to make these singular colour petals to begin with. So you will need your plain white pieces of ribbon, obviously 6 pieces for the 6 outer petals, and you will need your ribbon cut into a square. So the one I'm using today is a 1.5 inch wide ribbon or 4 centimeter wide, and it is cut the same in length, so 1.5 inch or 4 centimeters in length also, to give you a square. Taking the lighter, you will need to heat seal the ends, and this just prevents any fraying and also gets rid of any existing frays. Next, we're going to fold this in half into a triangle, so bringing corner to corner, so it looks like this. And then we're going to fold it in half again, like that. And then we're going to fold it in half a 3rd time. And then you will see that this top bit is going to be the top of your petal. Now, once you've got all this top part neat and lined up, so just make sure it's all nice and neat and lined up, keeping it pinched together with my fingers, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around 1/2 centimeter off the points. As you can see, this point here don't quite reach the tip because it's just how it's folded. It brings this back a little bit shorter, so that's normal, don't worry about that. So cutting off from the end piece, 1/2 centimetre in, doesn't have to be precise, just cutting a little bit off just to give you that flat end. And then this is where you will need tweezers, but you don't have to use tweezers. You can just hold it together as I already am, melt those fibres as though you're heat sealing it in the same way, and give it a pinch. But it does get hot and you do need to heat seal it well, so tweezers just help to get a grip on there. It saves your fingers from getting burnt, and then you can hold the heat on there a little bit longer, and then use the tweezers to give that a real good pinch so it stays together like that. Now the petal is quite tall, so we trim off a little bit of the bottom. So if I just show you on these the difference, so I've cut off around sort of half, just under half of this height. So to do that, just put the tweezers down so I can show you. So to do that, with the petal on the side, so this is the bit we've just heat sealed, this is the bottom of the petal, I'm going to cut just under halfway from this folded end, not the end we melted. So the folded end, we're going to cut halfway, and we're going to cut down diagonal to the bottom. So we're going to cut off that corner. So I'm just going to hold it this way, keeping it pinched tightly, still making sure that this is all nice and in line before I cut it. And then I'm going to cut from this folded edge just under halfway, so about there. So just under halfway from the bottom, not the top. And you're going to cut diagonally down to the bottom corner. So this is how I'm going to cut it. This is the top of the petal, and that's the side view. So I'm going to cut that down now. I'm keeping it pinched together. Actually, I'll use my tweezers to hold that on the end. And then we're going to heat seal that bottom what we've just cut. So this time we're not bonding it together, we're just heat sealing the bottom. So I'm just giving it a little push from the folded end just to make it open up a little bit so that it doesn't bond together, so I can just heat seal that raw end. Sometimes when you do that, it can cause the fibres to melt in the end we already sealed, so they can come apart again. If they do, just reseal them. But that is how you make the singular colour petal. I've got one more to make, so I'll show you that one again. So I'll do this one a little bit quicker. So heat sealing the ends. So that is all 6 of those outer petals now complete. And now we're going to make these inner petals. And obviously these ones are doubled up because we've got the 2 colours, and that just gives a really nice finish and just make them a little bit more bigger. This time we're going to take one white, again heat seal the edge. And we're going to take one pink, heat seal the raw edge. And then we're going to take the white piece and fold it diagonally in half to form that first triangle shape. I'm just going to keep that pinched in this hand, and then I'm going to do the same with the pink piece, so folding it out to form a triangle. So we've got 2 triangles, and then holding it with the folded side, so the open edge is in my thumb and fingers and the folded edges are facing in towards each other at an angle like that. We're going to lay the pink piece over the top of the white, because we're going to have the pink piece inside of the white piece. So the white piece is going to frame the pink, so it depends what way you want it. If you want the white piece to be inside, you can, but I like my pink piece to be on the inside. So I'm going to lay my pink piece over the top of my white, and then I'm just going to use my hair clip at this point, because I just find that it helps just to hold it in place. So it looks like this now. So we've lined them up at the bottom, so this corner is in line with this edge, and this corner will be in line with this edge, and the folded pieces are in the middle. Next we're going to take this back piece, which in my case is the white, and I'm going to fold it over the pink piece again, and then keeping it pinched whilst I remove that clip just to hold it in place. And then we're going to get the pink piece and fold that over the white piece, so bringing that over toward the front, and then just use my clip to hold it in place. Now don't worry too much about the bottom, it does come out unevenly, but that is the piece that is going to get trimmed off when you cut it down anyway, when you cut the height down, so don't worry about that. And now we need to fold this in half again. So to do that, I'm going to remove my clip out of the way. Now I can fold this using my nails, but if you don't have nails, you can use a pin instead. So taking a pin or a needle or anything that's just sort of long and thin, you can lay it in the middle and help you to fold that in half. And then just make sure that the top, don't worry about the bottom, you want to make sure that the top is nice and neat, because again, that is the piece that you are going to be able to see on your flower. So once you're happy that the petal looks all nice and neat and in line like that, keeping it pinched tightly, again we're going to trim the end. Obviously we've got more layers now because we've got two colours, but the same again, cutting off just those very tips around 1/2 centimetre. It's a little bit harder to cut this time, but my viscose fabric scissors, they are so good, they do cut quite easily. And then again, taking my tweezers, or just pinch it with your fingers if you haven't got any tweezers, it's up to you. Heat seal all of those ends to bond them together. So that's what it looks like now at the top, and now we're going to do the same and trim off some of the height. So taking I'm just going to hold the top point and then take my scissors and cut again just a little bit less than halfway from the bottom down diagonally, so it's sort of in line, the same angle as the top of the flower. And then again, I'm going to take it in my tweezers, and then I'm just doing that again, just pushing on the folded end just to open it up so I don't bond it together whilst I heat seal the bottom of the flower. And that is how you make the 2-colour petal. So I'm going to show you that on one more. I have got 2 more to make, but I think if I show you one more, that should be enough. Again, I'll do this one a little bit quicker. So that's another one made. So I'm going to make the final one and then we're going to assemble our flower. So now I've got all of my petals made, we're ready to assemble our bow. So I'm going to start with the double coloured petals first. So taking one of the petals to join them together, we're going to pop the glue on the end where we melted the ribbon to bond it together. So this is going to be the outside of our flower. So taking our hot glue gun, I'm going to pop a little tiny bit of glue, just a little dot on the end inside of the petal. So not on the very end, just on the inside. And then taking a second petal, we're going to join those together. Making sure when you join them together, they're at the same height at the front, so they're level. You don't want to stick one higher than the other. You can just check on the underside as well that they're level. And then we're going to continue doing that all the way around till we get to the last one. So popping a little dot of glue just on the tip toward the inside or the outside where there's not a petal there. And get another petal and join it together. So that's 3, and then just continue like that all the way around. So now we've got to our last one of this flower. So we've got 6 petals obviously of the double coloured, so this one's got to go in here. So for the last petal, you want to stick the glue on both sides like that, and then pop it in the gap and then just bring those together gently. So that is the double coloured part of the flower now done. Now you could leave it like this, just add a gemstone in the middle, but I like to finish it off with the plain white petals in between. So to do that, we're going to take the plain white petals, and in the same way as I did the last one, I'm going to place a little bit of glue along the bottom outer edges. I don't even have to press the trigger because I've got an annoyingly leaking hot glue gun. And then just gently prise them apart and slot it in. You don't have to slot it in hard, just till it's touching, and then let those petals go, and then it will just stay in there like that. Again, do that the same for all 6 petals, slotting them in between the coloured ones. So now I'm inserting the last one. Like that. So that is the completed flower now with the outer petals, and I just think that finishes it off so nicely, and I love the 2-coloured look on these. So now we're ready to attach this to our clip or elastic, whatever you're using. So I've got my 45mm clip and my ribbon to line it, so I'll quickly line it now. So I'm just going to place some hot glue around a couple of inches along that ribbon and start to line my clip. So sticking it on the underside, in the pinch part and over the top. And then because this is an open prong clip, I don't need to place glue on that bit there, so just that top bit. And then when I fold this over, that will hold both sides together. So I've got this half lined clip to match my ribbon. I've just gone for a white ribbon. And then this piece of felt, which I show you at the beginning, I just hand cut this into a circle. You can draw around something if you prefer, but you want about an inch circle. And then I folded it in half, and I took my scissors and I cut 2 slits in there. So when I open it up, the slits are about 1 centimetre wide, so I can slot my hair clip in there. So the top of the hair clip, I'm going to open it up and slot it in those slits like that. And then what that does is that then gives me a felt base to join it to my bow. So working out how far along you need this, just take your flower and place it on the clip, and then just look at the underside. To see where you want it. So I want mine about there. And then once you're happy with the placement, lift up the sides and you can glue them down onto the clip, and that will ensure that it doesn't slide out of place. So with the hot glue on those bits there, you now can't slide this across the clip, it will stay in place. And now we're going to apply some glue onto the top of this felt circle and then add it to our bow or our flower. So place the hot glue all round that felt circle and along the clip. And then take the flower. I'm keeping my hand on the clip part so I can make sure I've got some space. Roughly lay it on there and then flip it over, making sure it's in the middle, and then push down on the felt circle down onto the flower. And that will also help to keep the flower petals together, double secure, and it helps to hold it onto the clip really well. And then once you're happy that that is stuck down well, which that is, so I've left the clip in between petals so it's easy to open. So you don't want to be pushing down on the petals. So yeah, whoever wears the clip, in this case that will be 𝘱𝘳𝘰𝘥𝘆, she can still open the clip and not squash the lovely flower. So now we've got that ready, we can attach our gemstone. So to attach the gemstone, I like to hot glue a little bit of felt just in that gap in the middle, because hot glue and felt works really well together. So I've got just a little teeny tiny little piece of scrap felt here. I'm going to cut it even smaller. You want it very small, just to fill the little hole in the middle. And that just gives the gemstone something to stick to, because as you can see, it's got a slight gap in the middle. So I'm going to just place some glue. I'll place the glue actually in the hole to make it easier. This glue gun is awful. I do not recommend this at all. The hot glue gun that I use, that I recommend, sorry, I will link it in the description below, but I do not recommend that Bosch one. It's dripping, it's stringy. It's a shame because a lot of people on my group did recommend it, but yeah, it's just not working for me. Whether I'm unlucky or what, I don't know, but yeah, it's just awful. So I've just filled that hole now with some felt, and now I'm going to take my gemstone glue. Now this takes 14 hours to set, but once it's set, it says you can attach gems to garments, and then after 15 hours they are machine washable. Obviously we don't wash our bows, but that just gives you an idea of how strong this glue is. It might appear at first when you first stick the gemstone on that it's not sticking, because you'll still be able to move it around, but yeah, give it a good 15 hours and the gemstone won't be going anywhere. So I'm now going to attach a little bit to the gem, just a little bit, and I'm also going to pop some in that centre. Pop the lid on there so it doesn't dry out. And then I'm going to carefully lay the gemstone on there. You don't want to push it down too hard. You just want to lay it on that gemstone glue. I'm just trying to get it in the middle. And then yeah, you don't want to touch that at all now until that is completely dry. But that is your finished kanzashi flower hair clip. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications, and I will be back again soon with another tutorial. Bye for now.